Okay, seems to be working. Yeah, there we go. Okay, needed first game to apparently update some settings. I have no idea. I did troubleshooting and it worked, but I have no idea why the troubleshoot worked. So we're gonna take a look at Josonic versus In a Few Minutes. In a Few Minutes is a teammate of mine from Over the Board Chess. And Josonic is from the US, I guess. Yeah, don't know him, but thought it would be nice to stream commentary on my teammate. And he seems to be doing well this game. He's just pressuring the back rank. And white resigns, he's gonna lose too much material. Okay, first game in the bag. And just a reminder, I'm on a delay, so everything I say will be streamed a bit later. So everything you say in chat, I will also read a bit later. So I won't react instantly. So if you want to ask something about the position, make sure to include move numbers. Okay, so here we have G6 D6, which I think is a favorite by Josonic. I felt like In a Few Minutes knew that he was going for this, played this move very quickly, puts the bishop there. I would have tried to go h4, h5 probably. Now you do weaken the squares a bit, but e6, and I don't see any problems for black. Yeah, you just retreat. Pawn here, you retreat even more. And there's no pawns in hand for white, so he should just... Okay, he can even sack, but queen of 6 was also fine, I guess. And now black has all the material. White has a rook, but black can use these pawns. He should be better here, black. Hey, Pastor. Okay, so black taking a think here and going for knight at c4. I like this. I think he has time to go for material, as long as he doesn't allow too easy sacrifices on f7. And with the rook only in hand, white has to sit tight here for a moment or two and hope that he gets compensation. But the only entry square is this for the moment. There's enough coverage on f6. Whoa. g6 is fine, h6 is also fine. It's important to note that h6, okay, he can sack, but then g5 is again covered. So I like this. Black should take his time here, not overdo it. This is a very solid, good move. You can go for pawn at d4 if you want. You just use these 4 pawns. Solid move would just be pawn at d7. There's nothing to fear. Yeah, he goes for pawn at d7. And white cannot do anything. So you just take this at the right moment, and then you go with pawns here. So now you can try pawns here as well. So black's doing very well. I should be able to convert this, especially because the white has no counterplay whatsoever. At least not for the moment, and it's hard to imagine. And those are tough positions. Okay, so they traded a few pawns and the rook. I like the fact that white is keeping pressure on the clock. I think that's the way to go. But apart from that, it's not looking good. Just take with the rook. Give up the knight. Find a way to pressure him. Knight g5, for example. Okay, this is also fine. Would like to see some action on the dark squares. I think that's the way to go in. You can give up the queen, it's not so bad, but you have to do it on your own terms. You can imagine this is already quite unpleasant. So I think he has to go bishop at e7 and trade. Okay. Now I guess you take on f7. Don't see the follow-up yet, but it's gonna be some ideas with takes f7. Pawn at b5 was suggested. Yeah, no need to risk, true. Just go for some material. I guess the follow-up is not that easy because you don't have that much material. It just builds a pawn wall. Yeah, now I would take the rook and just take this. Back rank is a little scary, but the counterattack is coming. It's not hanging. That's important. Yeah, f3 needed to be covered, but now, and if he takes, black should be alright. Black might even be better, but this time situation is not so good. Black seems solid indeed. Just take rook f8. Ooh, he might have allowed some. Oh, now he allows too much. It's mate. Bishop here. King takes, or this should also work. Bit more time consuming. But now it's over. And white takes his time there for a second. And the time trouble again, yeah. Just like in the first game. But in the first game, in a few minutes was clearly winning. But now Yeah, if Josonic can just keep the speed up a bit, then he should have chances this match. Because in rating wise, it's pretty close. I think Josonic is more experienced, so that might help. 12,000 games in a few minutes. 2,000, so there's some experience in favor of Josonic. Okay, classic opening where black gives up this knight for the pawn, and Josonic going for a quick knight h5. But you can just pawn at g6 isn't a good response. You can just build the pawn wall and keep the trades low for a while. White could lash out. Hey, happiness bunny. Like this. But as PKR is pointing out, if you go 8 at h6, just back, and black is very solid. Yeah, it's a bit underrated maybe. I think he's mostly 2000 plus. But not much higher, I'd say. Some discovered experience, yeah, exactly. So now the pawn can continue, or you can do pawn at g5 and try to open the file. Developing first and then pawn at g5 is also an idea. You gotta go. This is the square to go through. It still is Sisyphone payments. I think in the top games it's not even taken most of the time, and they just allow it to jump to e4. Yeah, so now h5 is a bit too soon because g5 seems solid. This bishop controls the entry square for the moment. White could switch up and go after g6. Then maybe pawn at g6 immediately. But there's, for the moment, not much follow-up going on. Yeah, at g6 is a move. Exactly, yeah. But takes, take, and you just go back to g7. And the point is that you don't have anything to go on. Now he's trading, allowing trades. I wouldn't do that. I would just take, and even just go bishop f5 maybe. Yeah, I think h5 was helping black for sure. But now I can imagine some trades coming. Maybe knight here or something. Some weirdness. But the pawn g6 idea, yeah, it's an idea, but I don't like it that much. Knight d6 takes. Maybe he wants the queen trade. He can force the queen trade now. But black can just take and go back. And all the squares are covered. Yeah, this is even better, I guess. I maybe wanted the queen trade and then attack later, but this I don't think he has enough, but I like this idea. You gotta take with the bishop. or the pawn. And knight f5, king here. If this is working, then he had to go knight e5. It's a nice move. Knight takes h6. Ooh, he found something. And time is not on his side again. Bishop c4, bringing in extra pieces. If block, then you can check here, and if the king runs here, you can take the blocker. Go bishop c4, looks really good. If you go bishop g6 first and then bishop c4. Yeah, he finds it. Nice. Now you check here. And he has to go here. This is, and there's at least a draw for white, which is nice. You can just move the rook on these squares and that will be a draw. But he goes for the win instead, which I understand. Ooh, nicely pointed out. Bishop e4 is maybe a threat. But now pawn at d2 to block. And if takes, you go here. But rook f7 seemed winning already. Because the knight can take this pawn if the king moves to g8. But okay, white's still winning. Black made him use the pawn. Rook f7, king here, knight h6 here, here. That's the mate. So rook f7, he has to go here, and then you have to find a nice rook takes c7. And bishop takes f7 and pawn at g7 is mate. And rook at h8 as suggested instead of bishop takes g5 probably also mate because he has to use a blockader. Now it's over. So Josonic gets on the board, 2-1. Nice game. Queen takes d6, very nice execution afterwards. And he repeats his d6 setup. And last game he developed like this and went for quick e6, but I think e5 is fine. But you shouldn't push to e6 so soon. Okay. Don't know about this. Would have probably taken a knight c6. But he played it quickly, so he seems to be knowing what he's doing. In a few minutes goes for a couple of trades. But again, he think the sacrifices are a bit too early. Ooh, takes is now possible. Don't think this was the move. Knight g5. Queen takes f3. Queen takes might be on the table, or just f3. Now it's not so clear because the bishop covers this key square. But it does help white a lot. I don't think bishop at h5 was the move. Just go back with the rook. Yeah, exactly, upper. I'd agree. He can pick up the queen, but there isn't a mate, I feel. Black can even maybe just play queen at h4 or something just to threaten here. I think he's safe. Knight here, king here, knight h6, take, queen f7 and king h8, and the king is safe. So I like something here. But Josonic has to calculate that. Is at h2 any good? If it's not mating, it's not good. I think Variant Bunny wanted some sacks on h3 and then knight f3 ideas, but the knight is doing too much. What's this? Well, I guess if takes, there's pawn h2. But it doesn't. Now it's winning, I guess. This was a threat, he had to go bishop f4. Okay, so here. The point is takes, knight g4. And the queen joins. So I would try this. And then maybe you can run here. That's what you hope. But I think bishop f4 for white last move should have been fine. How to finish this if there is a mate immediately. It feels winning. But it's not that easy. Then again, white is not mating as well. So black can take time to play a slow move. It doesn't have to mate immediately. So, good question. Could he have played queen h4 first? Here. Then knight at g4. Probably. Pawn here, here, and then some knight takes f2 ideas. I think that would have been more precise. But now, don't burn your time too much. Okay, he just takes the piece. Nice defensive resource. Should have played this a bit quicker. He's threatening maybe some rook at e3 takes 95, but king still runs. I wanted some bishop at g4 ideas. He wants the same. You don't have to take, but I'm inclined to take once because then the defender of f7 is gone. And the extra pawn isn't hurting because you can just run here. Now here. Time is going to be the factor here. Yeah, white wins. Too many threats. So I guess queen at h4 first. 1800 strength was correct. But that's a tough one because Josonic was winning. time is killing him indeed. Okay, so now we had played bishop f5 instead of castles. You can still castle there, by the way. Knight takes g7, king takes is fine with so little pieces. Rook g8 is also fine, but you can imagine the king is now stuck in the center for a while. As soon as you come here, this will come. So what do I like more? Bishop e7. I like bishop e7, but I don't know what I would play in a match situation. But bishop e4 is more aggressive. You can take and go knight e4 next, which is nice. Okay, so just develop here with white. As soon as you develop this knight, the pawn will come. You don't have to be scared about that. They played a couple of moves. Guess it wasn't updating. Black used his pawn here to defend d5, and white used his knight aggressively. So now you could castle. Ooh, allowing an intermezzo. Don't know who it favors. This is also just perfectly fine. Bishop takes d5. So I guess this is his plan is to go e5 maybe. I don't like this for black. I think it should be good for white. Black gets back his piece, but takes on c6. Okay. But now the solid structure remains. Hey Zaraza. But white gets bishop at b7 ideas. After b takes c6. So black has to figure out, do I want to trade? I think he's pondering about this, but he doesn't do it. Yeah, I would trade and rook d8 if king takes. And if bishop takes, you gain the tempo and defending c6. But the knight here is really nice, so it's defending a lot of key squares. It's not attacking wise, it's not doing much, because these squares are nicely covered. So he does take with the king. Okay, rook d8 automatic. There is, you have to watch out for bishop takes and then careless go here. Then there's queen at e8 and knight d7. That's a threat for white. So maybe you can go knight at d4 here. And again, just a reminder, I'm on delay, so if I say knight at d4 and they play it within in a couple of seconds, then they wouldn't have heard it from me. Okay, double attack. So you could take here. Okay, he doesn't take the pawn. What if he would have taken the pawn, because now it's no longer possible. Nice quick move. The pressure is on the clock again. Yeah. Josonic is just slower. So here you would like to go in at d3, so maybe bishop here and put pressure on. Pawn at b3, for example. Kick the knight is also a move. Pawn at b3 and knight takes d3, for example. I like it. Combined with the time situation, and black has the initiative now. Yeah, that knight is hanging. So you can just take it. You can also go for this, but free knight. Yeah, and the free queen, and now it should be over. Yeah, he just takes everything. And white's position is collapsing. Guess take. And he has to take with the knight, and now knight at c3 is made. Can we open a beer already? I say go for it. Nice checkmate. In the end. And if you took with the king, queen at d3 was made. Mating. With the same idea after. Nice spot. Okay, so 4-1. So just a reminder, it's for first to 5.5. Okay, he switches up. He goes for not for bishop c4, but bishop e2. Long castle maybe. That's usually why you put the bishop here, so you support h5. But yeah, you can also play this very solid knight f3 castle. But it does give black time to play solid as well. And if you castle, black will set up queen c8 and sack here. So I wouldn't play queen c8 now, because then you alarm white. Some plan here sometimes for black is go king h8, and if e5 you go knight g8. Don't know if it works in here, but it could be a plan. But I think black is now a bit too slow with that plan. Okay. So rook e8 does make this less attractive, because the rook is already on the file. But white can also try knight g5 and push this. Black, on the other hand, usually wants to avoid trades with the bishop so vulnerable. But after knight h5 you can even go g4, I think, with white. But it will get messy after d takes e5. So maybe you should just go knight h5, save your knight. And again, notice Josonic taking an hour, I mean a minute. Longer for the first 10 moves. If he wants to win this match, he should really speed up in time. He gets good positions, but too little time. So we got the trade. And white might be thinking about this. And black with the knight will probably try maybe to force this e4 idea. f4 idea, something like this. But I don't like black's piece placement, and the move a6 seems very not useful. Good question. Where do you invest your time in 3+2? I'd say a tiny bit in the opening if you don't know what to do, but then just decide on an idea. And in 3+2 I usually invest most of my time around the 15 move mark. In my d4 openings maybe a bit later because I know what to do there. So in a match I would try to play openings that are at least the ideas are known so I can play them a bit more quickly. And time management also depends a bit on your opponent. It's very hard to think in your opponent's time, but you should do that. Because you made a move and then you say, okay, let's wait for him, but you should always scan for his ideas. By the way, this is not a very crazy move. Could have maybe been tried. But I like this as well. Just go back and go for this. So now take, and he's gonna sack on g7, I think. Yeah, right at the moment after you don't know what to do anymore in the opening. I spend a little bit of time and then I try to stay on that idea. But it doesn't always pay out. Oh, he doesn't take, he just goes back. I like this. I guess you again go here. And that you should not allow that, and e4 seems to be nice against that. Can you sack the queen here? I don't think so, but maybe you can. It's something Josonic has to figure out. But now he is the first game, or at least I feel like it's the first game he's uptime around this mark. It's also about time management. Once you get down to a minute, you have to switch to practical play. Because in a few minutes could have thought about bishop at g5 here or whatever. He just thought, okay, I'm gonna take the bishop. I'll see what happens. Now he can take. He can play knight e2. You can also just take this. Knight f6 is a try, but he has just king h8. But I would try knight f6. This is also a try. You gotta take, but you can also take with the pawn, and now he can go here. He gets a rook. It's messy. Take it. You don't have any move. Don't think. Yeah, just take it. Nice. Pawn here. Queen f4. And the game is suddenly very interesting again. So I guess knight at e2 instead of queen takes e3 first, h3 first. Ooh, don't know about this decision. Pawn here, but just here. And he survives. Okay, he found... Oh no, Josonic. Just back. Yeah, and knight at f5 was also probably a better blocker. Oh, Josonic missed some chances there. Okay, so 5-1 in a few minutes on match point. Okay, we get the same stuff, but he keeps his bishop here, so knight h5 ideas are not the best. Yeah, Josonic had chances this game, but also before. He's really scared of bishop e4, and black is really scared of knight h5. So they both made some tempo waste move. And now black can play castles without having to worry about this. You can even castle here. I would castle probably. In a casual game, but rook c8 is fine. Are they right in being scared? No, I don't think so, because we already saw this second game. No, the first game, where the knight came here for white, but black was completely fine even after h4. He messed up later, but he was fine there. So you shouldn't be that scared immediately with bishop here. I would leave the bishop here and wait for knight f3 to go here. And now black is doing completely fine. He's threatening a6 and knight takes d4. The white's development is off. So now we get a6, pawn e4. If he had to go back, so he goes here and we get some trades. Take. And you can take again. And then some pawn d2 ideas. Bishop is not developed, so there should be some counter tricks here. I like this idea as well. Thanks, Jacob. You gotta use this weak square. Hey, welcome. Still interesting, yeah. Knight takes d4 now. This is a nice addition because now you threaten to go here and win the rook. Very nice. Yeah, white resigns. It's game over. Black just wins too much. Okay, congrats to In a Few Minutes. Good games.